Here's a Beyond the Pitch podcast quick hit from the WVSA Digital Network.
I have a ton of athletes who like using Liquid IV. I have colleagues that use Liquid IV. So this is a perfect example. Like, is it a bad product? No, by no means is it a bad product. And actually, compared to a lot of the hydration products that I've broken down over, the last year or two, it's actually a pretty good hydration product in that it actually does have a notable amount of electrolytes. It has a good amount of sodium in it. It's got potassium. It's got some carbohydrate or sugar in it. And all of those things make for a good hydration product. The reason that they got picked on is because of the marketing. And so, they claim to be a hydration multiplier. And essentially say that, by using one stick of their product in one glass of water, it magically equals drinking 3 glasses of water. And there's the only truth that you could find to that would be that electrolytes help our body retain water. So you could argue, sure, if you drink a product with electrolytes, you're more likely to retain some of that fluid that you're drinking. But is there any exact science to, exactly how much more we're going to retain? And is it triple? No. I mean, that depends on so many factors, right? And I also think it's kind of funny because, an elite level athlete who's sweating a lot, they do need a lot of sodium, and maybe they would be at risk to be kind of deficient at times based on their training or how much they're sweating. But the average person has generally plenty of sodium in our diet, right? So to assume that now we're going to magically retain all this extra water because we've had their hydration stick is a bit silly. And and I think too, so that's one part. The hydration multiplier is a bit of an eye roll for me. And then they talk a lot about their breakthrough technology, their cellular transport technology, which magically shuttles, the water via your system and makes you keep it longer, better. I can't tell exactly how they describe it, but what it breaks down to is they've made an isotonic solution, which essentially just means it's easy for your gut to absorb, and you can use it better, which is fine that they've done that and that they want to talk about it. But it's not breakthrough. To my knowledge, the first company to do it was Gatorade about 50 years ago. They've been making an isotonic solution for decades. And I'm sure many other sports products are doing the same. You do that by adding sodium, electrolyte, and some glucose, which is kind of your basic sports drink recipe. So, again, not a bad product, but certainly you could see how someone would read this and think, oh my gosh, this sounds so much better. I'm gonna grab this. And man, I'm thinking about their box. And it just, there were so many things that kind of made me chuckle. They talk about dehydration occurs daily in 3 out of 4 people. I couldn't find a study on that. My guess is that they probably literally just made it up, right? And companies do that all the time because who's checking? We see that, but are we thinking okay, well, how did they determine that 3 out of 4 people are dehydrated? Who did they ask? What was the sample size? Did they just go into a room of people and determine that 3/4 of them were dehydrated? And especially since they don't include the study anywhere on their website or anything, it kind of leads me to believe that it was not a very well done study, if done at all.